Hello again, welcome back. This time we're going to have a look at the Den extended. If you were with me last time, when I did my first couple of series on Slay the Princess, I actually ended up missing out on the Den, and I ended up taking the path onto the Wild, which I thought was the third part of the story. Something I've decided to do after this episode is actually go back and have a look at the Wounded Wild, because that is one I also didn't explore. So unfortunately, I did miss the original Den, but now we get to see the new one at least. I'll jump in a little bit later when we're all ready to go, but first, check this out. I think the door's different.
The interior of the cabin is ruinous and dilapidated. It feels like no one has lived here for a long time, wind rushing in through cracks and holes in the wooden walls. The only furniture of note is a termite-eaten table with a pristine blade perched on its edge.
It's not just me, right? I feel like the cabin's had a bit of
The blade is your implement.
a bit of an upgrade in
You'll
here,
need it
like
if you
they've
want
added
to
some
do
more
this right.
details. It definitely feels different to me, and it
That's
looks
because
good.
there is
I
a-
may be wrong, but
There's a
it still looks
table
really
with
good.
the blade
Anyway,
sitting
I'm
on
going to
the
skip
table
ahead,
and the door to the
and
basement.
I will
There's
meet
nothing
you
else in here.
a bit later. So we're going to try and survive now against the beast and see how it goes.
She's coiling for another strike. Be somewhere else. We're on the back foot. The back foot keeps us nimble, keeps us alive. It doesn't matter if it keeps us alive if it eventually kills us. We need to take back the momentum. We need to do something.
Okay then, let's survive.
You spring into the jungle, barely moving out of the way before the princess surges past you with a speed that makes her practically unseen.
Right, okay. Stop hiding and show yourself.
If you want to see me, you should get better at seeing.
Alright, fair enough.
She knows that her strength lies in shadows and secrets. She won't reveal herself unless she has to.
Right, what do you want?
I want to swallow you whole, and I will get what I want. You have no exit. You have no hope. You live and die by my whims, and my whims alone.
Don't ask her what she wants, just slay her. Is that all the advice you have? We don't even know what she looks like. Some specifics would be very helpful. She's just a princess. Don't overthink it. She is clearly not. A tickling sensation rises at the base of your neck. Flee. We can't keep doing this.
We just gotta stay alive.
You're a little slow, or maybe she's a little faster. You avoid her slavering jaws, but she manages to graze you, her titanic momentum skinning you along your side.
Ow.
It's like being sideswiped by sandpaper. How is she that fast?
Ooh.
You're bleeding now.
You instinctively touch your side, testing her claim. It's wet, and stings from the gentle touch of your fingertips. A costly mistake. We can't make it again. We will make it again unless something changes. We have to break the pattern. We need more time. She's cutting off our escape.
Our game is nearing its end.
But why? Why do you want to kill me?
Why does anything kill anything else? She needs to.
I didn't say I wanted to kill you.
It sounds like she wants to do something even worse. What she wants only matters if she wins, and you're not going to let that happen.
She obviously wants to mukbang me.
She's more tense this time. She means this next blow to be the last. The mere thought of moving again makes your bloodied side ache. We're exhausted. We're bleeding. We're still alive. We owe it to ourselves to move.
Again!
Once again, you nearly avoid the full force of the impact, and once again you are too slow to come away unscathed. You're starting to get tired. You're making mistakes. This isn't working. We have to do something. We have to figure out a plan. Don't plan ahead. Act on the now. All that matters is that we stay alive. We're trying, but we can't keep this up much longer. We have to. We keep up or we die.
You're getting slow.
She seizes the opportunity, lunging once again from the darkness, fangs bared and claws flashing. She attacks over and over, and each time she leaves with a little piece of you. Too tired to think, but we have to think. We have to move. It's too late. Before you get the chance to react to it, she makes her last foray from the dark corners of the room, unhinging her dripping maw, her eyes fierce and full of hunger. You do your best to dive out of the way, and you partially succeed. Partially?
Partially succeed.
Yes, the princess fails to swallow you whole. She only swallows your lower body.
Oh no.
That's just as bad. That's worse, even. It's death either way. At least this will be a faster end. You look down to see that the dirt between you is strewn with your intestines, trailing all the way up and disappearing behind her blood-stained teeth. Your legs are nowhere to be seen. You start to go into shock.
Oh no.
The princess, bloody saliva dripping from her lips, idly gnaws on what's left of you as you rapidly fade away.
I didn't mean to do that. I still need to devour you. And it doesn't count if you're dead.
Oh, I'm sorry that you f***ed up.
Well, we're not dead, we're... But you don't have time to protest her premature observation of your death, because everything goes dark, and you die.
She took my legs from me and my feet, my balls maybe. Chapter 3, The Den.
You're on a path in the That didn't work. We're going in with a plan this time. We're not getting stuck in another loop, just acting on instinct. We're stuck in a big enough loop as it is. Instinct was keeping us alive, until it wasn't. So what are we supposed to do? Great, so you've been here before. That doesn't bode well. You're not supposed to have been here before. This is supposed to be one and done. So you know more than you're letting on. Yeah, what he said. Of course I do, but believe me, it's in your best interests. The more you know about the princess, the more difficult your task will be. Why is that? Having me explain why would defeat the whole purpose. There are simply some things I'm not allowed to tell you. It's a hard rule.
A hard rule? Whose rule?
And whose rule is it? Who's telling you to boss us around? We've died twice already, and if you want us to stay alive this time, it's in your best interests to give us an edge. It's my rule, and this conversation is over.
Okay, what's the plan?
She spent as much time as she could in the shadows, so we're gonna draw her out. But she's fast, and she's clever. We're clever too. So this time we're not going to let her cut off our escape. We're going to lead her to the stairs ourselves. It'll be a lot easier to deal with her once we can actually see what she is. But you already know what she is. She's a princess. Yeah, right. A princess we couldn't see, and one that had big, sharp teeth too. How about you stick to describing things and we'll stick to doing our job?
Yeah, you tell them.
Sharp teeth.
Right, the path is different than it was before.
You're right. This is different, isn't it? I'm starting to lose track of things myself. Ground is ground. It doesn't matter what shape it takes. We'll adapt. If it looks different, that's because the situation has started to spiral out of everyone's control. So please, disavow yourself of the notion that you can just come back here and fix this place if you manage to make a mess before that line of thinking leaves you yet another world in ruin. Though, as evidenced by you dying twice, it's safe to assume the fates of the worlds you've left behind don't concern you very much. Consider this your last opportunity to make things right. For you and for the rest of existence. But especially for you. Clearly we're not getting anything out of him.
Well, I want answers. What is going on here? What do you know that you're not telling me?
I've told you as much as I can without putting you at a disadvantage. If anything, I've told you too much. You've already died by her hands twice. You shouldn't need much in the way of motivation.
What if we just leave? What happens then?
Doesn't seem like she can escape on her own. Maybe not quickly, but it's inevitable that cabin won't last forever. she will. Forget I said anything. Just treat this with the urgency it deserves.
Well, no matter what happens next, it seems like all our answers are in the cabin. Let's see this through.
You make your way down to the cabin. Your fated confrontation awaits. You know what to do. Alright, we've been over the plan. Goad her out of the shadows, make her show herself. And what if she doesn't want to be seen? We'll figure out a way to make it happen. And if that doesn't make her any easier to fight, it will. It's always easier to fight what you can see, no matter how big or toothy she might be.
Let's proceed.
The interior is dark and overgrown. Vines and brush obscure so much of the place that, had you not seen the exterior, you might not have noticed this was a cabin at all. The only furniture of note, if you could call it that, is a knotted stump, a pristine blade embedded in its exposed rings. The blade is your implement. You'll need it if you're going to do this right. Of course that damn mirror's back, and of course he's not saying anything about it. Why is it following us? What are you talking about? There is no mirror. It's just the stump and a narrow tunnel that leads to the basement.
He's never going to acknowledge it.
He isn't tricking us. Can you feel the wind? It's telling us there's a hole in that wall. Our eyes deceive us. Then either way, we need to investigate. Might as well get started.
Alright, okay, let's go without
You
the
really
pristine
think
blade.
being unarmed is best? I hope you know what you're doing. But let's not forget that it's up here if things go south. The steel claw makes us sloppy, too confident. We'll be faster without it. You step forward, approaching the small hole that leads to the basement, hesitating before you enter the princess's lair. Haven't you been paying attention? We're not hesitating. This supposed hole is blocked by that old mirror. That mirror isn't part of this place. It's seeped through from somewhere else. It, if there even is an it, is a hallucination. Like you said, you've been here twice before. Your mind was bound to start playing tricks on you eventually.
The letter G is for gaslighting.
It went away after we reached out to it last time. Might as well try wiping it clean again. What's the harm? You reach forward and wave your hand over the open hole leading to the basement. See? Nothing. Tricks of the eye. No one sense can be trusted on its own. You step forward into the darkness. If there were once stairs leading into the basement, there is nothing left to attest to their existence now. There is only a long tunnel of packed earth, growing more narrow as you descend. It smells of mold and decay.
Ooh.
The damp walls leave streaks of dirt along your body as you're forced to hunch, then finally squat down on all fours in order to continue. If the princess lives here, slaying her is probably doing her a favour. As you crawl forward on hands and knees, you're met only with the sounds of ambient earth. No voice slinks confidently up the stairs, no entity threatens violence or pleads for safety. Stay quiet. Don't give her a sound.
Okay, so we don't have to fight. I'm ready to let you out of here. We don't have to fight. I'm ready to let you out of here. So the first one's a lie. We should talk, or we have unfinished business, or we'll say nothing. I think we should say nothing.
You say nothing, maintaining the silence as you carefully make your way down into the basement. The basement is dark and cavernous, a gaping maw threatening to swallow you whole. There is no light here, save for what little starlight has managed to filter down the tunnel. And though you can't see the vastness of the space, you can feel it. You're exposed. Stay on your toes. We take a step into the shadows, and as soon as she moves, we jump back, make her follow. From there, we trap her in the tunnel, draw her out of the cabin, whatever it takes to get her out of her element. Then we're safe.
I'm still trying to be quiet. We're not gonna fight, we're just gonna draw her out.
You step into the shadows and are enveloped in total darkness. Your heart pounds in your chest, ears pricked, eyes wide despite the inky blackness, waiting for any sign of movement. That's right. Keep steady. Don't let your nerves get the better of you. There, she's about to strike.
Ooh, run, 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 run,
With the
run,
near
run.
silence of a determined predator, the princess erupts from the shadows. But you've already started your swift escape. That's stage 1. Now stay focused. You dive into the tunnel and begin scrambling up towards the cabin. You hear her behind you, claws raking at the dirt, chains rattling, then snapping, breaths hot and heavy with the effort of the ascent. But the sounds are coming slower now, the breaths pained and stuttering. You no longer sense frantic motion behind you in the tunnel. You risk a glance. She is a broad and sickly creature, her withered and emaciated flesh clinging to bones too large to fit in the narrow space. She managed to squirm her way into the tunnel in pursuit, but now she's stuck, incapable of either moving towards you or returning to the open darkness of the basement below.
Oh no.
So that's what she's become. She wasn't like this when we started. Was she? No, she wasn't. Looking at her makes me feel sad. Yeah, now that we can see her, she doesn't feel like much of a threat at all. She paws futilely at the air between you, but her shoulders are pinned in the narrow confines of the opening. She has no hope of reaching you. And she realizes this. Her arm goes limp, flopping to the dirt floor of the tunnel, and her eyes fall from yours, defeated. Her eyes look up at yours, wide, pleading. Come back, you can imagine them saying. Don't leave me here. But you shouldn't listen to the sad eyes of a vanquished enemy. She wants nothing more than to change places with you. If you want us to ignore her, then why would you tell us any of that wide, pleasing eyes begging for mercy business to begin with? All it does is make us feel conflicted. I'm merely describing things as they are. It's not my fault that her eyes had something to say, even if that something was a ploy, which, if I might stress, I pointed out to you. What should we do about her anyway? Can she still end the world like this? She hurts. We should help. Now let's think for a second. Let's reevaluate. Should we help her? Well, I do feel bad looking at her. There's no way to get close without being in reach of those claws. We've come this far, but can we trust a creature that until a few short moments ago fully intended to eat us? What an excellent question with an equally excellent answer. No, you should not help her. She's clearly just waiting for you to drop your guard. And beyond that, you do well to remember that she poses a threat to reality itself. She is stuck, and you abandoned a perfectly usable weapon right behind you. How about you turn around, get the blade, and end this once and for all?
Approach her or go back for the blade. Let's help her out. What's the worst
What
that
are
could
you
happen?
doing? We could all just turn around and be done. What's your game? You and I both know there's no game. He's made a bad choice. As you draw near, she readies her claws, raising them to strike. Don't flinch. Show her our resolve.
Why would I choose to flinch? Offer her your hand.
Reach forward, offering the princess your hand. How ridiculous. She was about to kill you. Do you really think getting stuck in a tunnel for less than a minute has fundamentally changed her? Yes, she's a victim of her own nature, just like we are. If all she wanted was to kill us, she'd have kept trying. But she's hesitating, isn't she? Yes, she is. Her eyes shift from faux ferocity to confusion to a gentle sadness.
Aww.
She lowers her claw and places it in your hand. Ugh. Do you think we can pull her out of there? We have to try. It's a bad death being stuck in place. And what if it doesn't work? What if we can't trust her? We have to trust someone else eventually. It's either him or her, and I know you don't trust him.
Who would?
I don't even trust the rest of you, but that doesn't mean we have to go around pulling bloodthirsty monsters out of perfectly good traps. but we haven't seen what happens if we help her. Doesn't that mean it's worth exploring? I can't argue with that. Alright, let's see what happens. Maybe we'll finally get some answers.
Pull her free!
You tug, but the princess remains stuck. What a shame that the bones of her massive form are too large to fit through the narrow tunnel. Keep pulling. All he has are empty words. He can't undermine us if we don't listen.
Yeah.
You are all infuriating to work with. But fine, you continue to pull on the princess's arm and she starts to budge. She pushes with her back legs, clawing at the earth, a burst of strength aiding your efforts. The dirt and stone start to crumble around her.
Please don't pull her arm off, please.
That's the spirit. Keep going. Yes, quickly, before the whole tunnel comes down on top of us. Yes, wouldn't that be an interesting development? What if the very nature of this tunnel was such that you were incapable of leaving safely with the princess? How devious.
Come on, don't be a little...
Does it collapse? Yes, it does. As you pull the princess free, the tunnel around you does exactly what you thought it might do. It falls apart. Trapped. No, we have to get out. We have to get out. It's too late to scramble for freedom now, little voice. You didn't think just pulling her out of there would be consequence-free, did you? Well, the ceiling collapses. Heavy stones tumbling down on top of you and the princess, and I don't believe it. Let me guess. Everything goes dark, and we die. No.
Oh, damn.
Not yet. You open your eyes to see the princess, her body stretched over yours, her face wincing as she shields you from the heavy rocks and debris. There is space enough for you to move, at least for now. I'll be damned. So there's more to her after all. The pack is always stronger than the lone hunter. We save her, she saves us. She understands. Well, we can't keep saving each other forever. Her arms are already starting to give out, and there's a whole mountain of earth on top of her, just waiting to bury you both. We can always dig. Both of us.
Yes, come on, teamwork.
Be suffocating to death down here in the dark. Then let's do it.
Yeah, come on, dig through the earth together.
You and the princess dig through the loose earth of the collapsed tunnel together. How sweet. But it seems the harder you try to claw your way forward, the denser the path becomes. All of this effort, and for what? A chance to end the world? I hope you fail. His words are nothing. Pay attention to what you feel and see. It doesn't matter if you ignore me, because I'm just telling you what's happening, and what's happening is that you and the princess are getting tired, and your mouths are full of dirt, and it's getting harder to breathe. Harder to breathe is still breathing.
Yes.
Well, either way, the two of you are miserable. I don't know, I feel like we're forming a bond with her. Can't be all that bad if we're bonding. She's not capable of bonding. Need I remind you that as soon as she saw you, she tried to eat you? You are not friends, and as soon as you're out, you'll see just how seriously she values your life. If you were so sure we were going to fail, you wouldn't sound so desperate. You're just hot air. There's nothing of substance to you at all, is there?
Yeah, come on, you, narrator.
I have plenty of substance. I have feelings and desires. Like my desire to save everyone in the world. I feel that very strongly.
That's the only thing you
Do you
feel.
smell it? Fresh air.
Claw your way to freedom.
With one final massive heave of her body, the princess pushes her way out of the tunnel, leaving you behind, the quickly collapsing space you once shared. Yours was an alliance of convenience, just as I predicted. She has left you to die, buried and alone.
No.
You are unbelievably petty. All my pettiness is nothing compared to yours. You were delighting in my suffering and the damnation of the entire world just moments ago. She hasn't left. She's coming back. Don't you hear her? No, she isn't. She's... How many times do you have to be wrong before you stop talking? The princess stares down at you from the opening. Before the tunnel can finish sealing itself, she cranes her elongated neck and gently plucks you from the earth.
Yes!
She carries you across the half-collapsed ruin that was a cabin, carefully setting you down by the door. If there were to be a record, let it show that I tried. I really, really tried. But there won't be a record, will there?
Open the door and step into the wilds.
You open the door, the two of you stepping out into the fresh air and collapsing together onto the dewy grass of the outside world.
Oh, he's off again.
Ha! We're outside and there's ground beneath our feet. I don't see any oblivion. Admit it, there never was an end of the world coming, was there?
He does not reply.
Yeah, we got him there, didn't we? Don't think I've ever seen him stunned into silence before. Can't you feel the hole where he was? He's gone. Can't see that. I'm not sure gone is good.
The princess rests her head close to you, her eyes stare into yours amid the untextured threads of the world unravelled. Are we free? They ask. I'm cold. I don't want to be cold. Aww. Oh, that was sad. But it's the second time now that the princess has decided to help us after we've helped her instead of betraying us. And now we're probably going to go and do something horrible to her. Let's turn back for the blade this time.
You turn back towards the exit, leaving her behind. The tense silence of the tunnel is suddenly interrupted by the panicked, guttural wails of a creature in distress. She has redoubled her struggle against the confines of the earth around her, the very walls shaking as she desperately thrashes against them. She is stuck here, right? Of course, it's too small for her to get up here. But is up here stable? I don't know. I didn't think about that when I started to plan all this. It isn't. It's only dirt and stone, and she is very, very big. Hurry! You do your best to scramble up towards the exit, but you barely manage to get halfway before the ground beneath you begins to crumble. And she is getting closer, her breath hot on the back of your neck. Damn it all! This whole thing is just an exercise in futility, isn't it? No words, only action. Keep running. But the tunnel collapses before either you or the princess manage to reach the exit.
Am I dead?
Everything goes dark and we die? Oh no, you're perfectly fine. You're just buried under literal tons of earth, as is the princess. Why, for the love of everything, did I not think about the stability of the tunnels? I'm supposed to be smarter than this. I'm supposed to have a plan for everything. This is all my fault. I was the one who started worrying about this place falling apart. And what, you think worrying made the tunnel collapse? I don't know. Maybe. It was physics. You can't change things just by thinking about them. That's ridiculous. Bickering and bickering doesn't matter, because now we're here, stuck in a dark place. Not a place to move, not even room to dig. Something shifts in the gloom around you. An eye opens. The wet glint of it pierces the darkness, its pupil focused on you. The princess. At least she's as stuck as you are. Not that it'll do much good in the end. Stuck is still alive. But it's not alive forever. I can smell the end all around us. Sweet and empty. This is where we die. I'm going to lie down now.
Ooh, that right there's a vibe.
The eye stares at you with resignation. A glimmer of regret. Are we going to be here forever? Is this my fault?
Ooh, wow, that is a lot of choices there. Come on, you have to give us something, just a little wiggle room. Struggle to free yourself. We can't both be stuck here. This can't be how it ends. You must be able to free us. This is both of our faults. I'm sorry. This is my fault. I should have done things differently. I'm sorry. Yes, this is your fault. This isn't anybody's fault. I know whose fault this is, and this isn't ours. We'll wait in silence. No bad breath.
If we had wiggle room, he would have said we had wiggle room. He's right. There's nothing I can do here. I'm sorry. No more circles to run in. It's time to sleep.
Not yet. Struggle to free yourself.
Good luck with that. You do your best to move your body, but try as you might, your earthen coffin doesn't budge in the slightest. This is pointless. Just give up already and die a miserable death with the rest of us. And then we'll start again and we'll do better.
So we're dying down here. How long is that going to take?
A while. You're stuck, not injured. I wonder what'll get us first. Suffocation. Thirst. We could always just let ourselves die. That doesn't sound like you. I thought you were all about survival. Only when survival is possible. There's nothing left for us here but suffering. Hate to break it to you, but you can't just decide to die. Death is something that happens to you. It's external. It's a consequence. You almost sound like you think we deserve this. We made a mistake. It's what's supposed to happen to us. It's the only way we can learn.
We can't both be stuck here. This can't be how it ends. You must be able to free us.
The princess's eye closes in concentration as she attempts, and fails, to move her body. I'm afraid you are both stuck. We all know where this is going, so get on with it. All right, I'll go into extra detail, just for you. The weight of the world you have destroyed rests on your chest. It both crushes and cradles you, holding your lungs in a stasis where you can never take in quite enough breath for comfort. Your limbs ache, muscles screaming in their locked positions, one arm slowly growing numb as your blood struggles to reach it. There is dirt in your eyes. They fill with tears. Okay, I think that's enough. We get the picture. Skip to the everything goes dark part, please. No, not quite yet. I haven't even gotten to the starvation, or the thirst. That gnawing that starts as a nibble, a little reminder that despite it all, you're still alive. You can see that she too feels herself being eaten from the inside. Her gaze never leaves you. Any semblance of thought has vanished, replaced with a desire for the only thing that can sate her hunger. You can feel a strain as your parched mouth attempts and fails to water. But even with a dry tongue, your hunger is such that you can't help but think about what her flesh might taste like. Don't think I'll forget how much you're enjoying this, you sick bastard. Don't worry, the end is close. Your mind grows cloudy as your blood slows, your chest trying to suck in enough oxygen to feed your starved muscles, your bruised ribs doing little more than bumping up against hard, packed dirt. You aren't even sure you have limbs anymore, and whether the vacant ache where they once were is just the memory of limbs. Any second, you might breathe in one last, shallow, hurting. Well, are we almost done yet? He's gone. And we're somewhere new. Is this what happens when we really die?
Neither you nor the princess ever draw that final breath, because neither of you dies here. As the world around you unwinds, she places her head at your feet. I'm cold, say her eyes. I don't want to be cold. Well, that was truly horrible. Left me a bit lost for words there, especially that the narrator seemed to be enjoying it quite a bit. Out of the many deaths we've seen, that was really quite unpleasant. That made me very uncomfortable. We're going to step into the darkness ready for a fight now.
You step into the shadows and are enveloped in total darkness. Your heart pounds in your chest, ears pricked, eyes wide despite the inky blackness, waiting for any sign of movement. There, she's about to strike. We're screwed. I know, this wasn't part of the plan. We were supposed to come down here prepared. Oh, what's the use? You just barely make out the shape of teeth and eyes as the princess emerges, enormous maw gaping, ready to swallow you whole. And...
But he doesn't respond. Eyes glance at you from the untextured threads of the world unravelled. Am I free, they ask. Oh, okay. Okay, so that last one was a quick one. What we're actually going to do now is go in with a different voice, so we're going in with stubborn, and we're going to see what happens.
Little starlight has managed to filter down the tunnel, and though you can't see the vastness of the space, you can feel it. You're exposed. It doesn't matter if we can't see down here. We know where she is.
Let's get ready to fight again.
You step into the shadows and are enveloped in total darkness. Your heart pounds in your chest, ears pricked, eyes wide despite the inky blackness, waiting for any sign of movement. There, she's about to strike. With the near silence of a determined predator, the princess erupts from the shadows. You're quick to react, swinging your blade, its tip intercepting her before she can draw first blood. She recoils, stunned for a brief moment. See? I told you. We needed to assert our might. We needed to prove to her that she can bleed too. She'll doubt her every move now. Her gleaming eyes watch you from the shadows, unblinking. There's fear in them now, but it is a fear wreathed in fury, and beneath it all lurks something far more primal. Hunger. Yes, she knows your strength now, and she wishes to devour it. How unseemly. I'd like to see her try. The princess lunges with even more ferocity than before. Both voices were right. Within that ferocity there is the clumsiness of doubt, a chaotic dance between impulse and restraint. Not a word is spoken between you and the princess as you exchange blows in the dark. The glint of bloody claws and fangs, the flash of wet steel. In the pit, all of your senses are heightened, each injury stinging like a chorus of insects, each small shift in your favor a major victory that swells your confidence. And yet, for all the wounds you've managed to inflict upon her, you remain at a stalemate. And then you start to lose ground. While your body slows, hers quickens, her wounds mending as she licks the blood of her prey from her dripping maw. So she really can devour our strength. Can we do something like that? All these wounds are starting to add up. Nah, screw that. We're not stooping to her level. We'll just have to give this our all, end it in one final hit. We die if we do that. We have to make ourselves like her. We have to embrace instinct. She shifts towards you, her bloody grin shining in the dark. And then you see it. Your opening. Take it! Put her down like the mindless beast she is.
Take the opening and strike at her heart or embrace instinct. Okay.
You hurl yourself towards the princess, your movement too quick, too bold for her to intercept. You bury your blade deep in her chest. Yes! Yes! We're going out in a blaze of glory. Nature doesn't have glory. This is just death. She howls in pain, retaliating with claws and teeth, desperately tearing, trying to devour you to make herself whole once again. Chunks of your flesh are torn away, feathers and blood and bits of gore splattering to the ground. But your work is already done. No sating of her ravenous hunger will be enough to mend her now. Though her flesh begins to seal itself around you, she cannot remove your blade from her heart. You and the princess collapse to the floor together, your bodies fused, entwined in a bloody mass of limbs and teeth. I wouldn't have it any other way. As the two of you fade, a new emotion creeps into the princess's eyes. Something akin to shame. What have we done? They ask. I guess that's it. At least we saved the world. Right? Right? He's gone. Everything is gone, except her. And us. It doesn't matter. We won.
The princess's eyes speak again. I'm cold. I don't want to be cold. Wow, melted together forever. Now we're gonna embrace our instinct.
You hurl yourself towards the princess's body, carving into her not with steel, but instead with tooth and claw. You are a blur of bloodied things that tear and rend. Yes. Yes. We are not prey. We are more. The princess howls in fear and outrage as you peel away a chunk of her flesh. But as the bloody meat slides down your throat, you feel invigorated.
Oh, we're eating her.
Your wounds burn less, you feel faster, more responsive. Again, the more we take of her, the less she will be able to take of us. There is no time to rest if you're to do this right. She tries to bat you away with her massive paw, but as it smashes into your ribs, you clamp your teeth around the limb. You give her no time to react before snapping it from its joint.
Ooh, that's an arm coming off.
The princess pulls back in pained shock as you crunch through bone, devouring the arm that was part of her. It's part of you now. Your wounds heal. That's disgusting. I don't want to do that. You are the one who asked if we could do this, and if it means we win, well, we have to win. Victory demands we do whatever it takes to claim it. I didn't think it would be so dehumanizing. But we feel bigger than her now, don't we? The feeling doesn't linger. As you choke down the last of her severed arm, she lunges, taking advantage of the distraction. In a frenzied flash of blood and feathers, she rips into your side, swallowing another piece of you. Weakness returns. Her arm starts to mend itself, fresh claws sprouting from developing flesh. We can't be small again. We have to take more. We have to take it now.
Oh, this is gonna go on forever.
You descend upon her again, jaws gnashing, desperate to regain your power. You both lose yourself in the rhythm of the feast. You devouring her, and she devouring you. Mending and bleeding and consuming in an endless cycle. On and on and on. Come on, just one more bite. Then we'll have her right where we want her. Am I really the only one who's not on board with this? I'm gonna be sick. The more you consume, the more the lines that differentiate you and her begin to blur, the flesh of your bodies twisting into warped reflections of what you swallow. You have to snap out of this. You can't destroy her if you lose sight of yourself. We are the predator now. There is nothing to do but embrace our true nature. But words fade into hollow vibrations as you and she continue to tear at each other in the darkness. There are no beginnings. There are no endings. There are no moments of calm. There is only savage violence.
Oh, that's nasty.
Did you say no endings?
But he doesn't respond, he's gone.
But how are we supposed to know if we won? We have won. We'll never die so long as we keep eating. We can be forever.
But you and she are separated, your flesh ripped from where it joins together. Before forever can come to pass, you lock eyes, you see a new emotion there. Shame, what have we done, they ask. You are at the cabin. Let's ask her what she thinks of this vessel before we end. Do you have any thoughts on this vessel?
This one is consumed by instinct, a dancer moving to the rhythm of the flesh. She will make for a ravenous heart. Do not mourn her, for she is part of something greater.
I'm ready to go back.
I will long for your return, but it will give me time to reflect on what I am. We will meet again.
Everything goes dark and you die.
Something